What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? More news coming down the pipeline from Capital Games. We have got some specific dates in regards to both Grand Arena Championships and territory battles on Geonosis, the dark side version. Now, I have to say, while I was not super stoked about some things happening recently, I can't overstate to you my level of hype for these two events, especially Grand Arena Championships, especially because we haven't had Grand Arena all this month, and now we're having confirmation of just how long that drought is going to be. We're going to have to wait until next week to have any Grand Arena action, and so I'm very, very ready for that. But not to mention that we're going to have so much more going on with this Grand Arena Championships, especially with feats and with leaderboards, etc. I'm just really stoked to see how that is going to roll out. And so we got this post here from Crumb. Before we get into that, something I did want to call out. I made this tweet on Twitter, in which if you didn't see it, I addressed how Crumb got on the forums, and he talked about how we were going to have compensation for the rewards we normally receive in Grand Arena. Turns out those are actually just the double drops, which kind of felt like a lot of whiplash to us. In fact, this comment on Reddit ended up being, I think, the most downvoted comment in the history of our Galaxy of Heroes subreddit. Now, in that video, I was talking about how it just felt fishy to me. It felt to me like this was not what they intended to do with double drops all along. After talking to Carrie today, I was able to have a conversation with her. We actually had a really good conversation. I don't think this was necessarily malicious intent on CG's part. I think it was bad communication, however, and I still absolutely think that CG needs to make this right and give us the rewards that in our view were promised. You know, this is, especially when it comes to mods, that's a lot of mod slicing materials that we would normally get. All right, on to the post, and this is from Crumb on the forums, but he clarifies this is from the feature producer. And if you go to this post, they do have a couple links here to other posts about all this other news that has been rolling out with this. There's just been a lot coming down the pipeline. It's been actually, this has been one of the longer rollouts I've ever seen. There's been a lot of communication in this, and I think the communication is a great thing. Obviously, we want to have consistent communication, but this is good stuff, especially because we're going to have dates. And so they're talking about how Grand Arena Championships are intended to play a, quote, major part in the day-to-day gameplay of veteran players. Now, I like seeing this because they're mentioning day-to-day, which makes me feel like this is going to be a very consistent part of the game, kind of like Squad Arena. I think that's really positive. To me personally, I could not possibly have enough Grand Arena. It's been really boring in the game without it, frankly. And then also that it talks about veteran players. This is intended to be an end game kind of content, which as an end game player, I'm stoked with. Maybe some feedback there is I hope that we can find ways to, you know, keep everything new and exciting for new players as well. But I don't really know what it's like to be there. So everyone who's a new player, tell me right now, how are you guys feeling about the content you've got? I mean, is it just, you know, because you're going through it for the first time, everything's fine? Or do you feel like that's something that could improve on? Because we're getting 2 new items of content that I'm super excited about, but both of them are seemingly end game, you know, items of content in both the territory battle and the Grand Arena championships, which, again, me, end game player, I'm down with that. I'm just not sure how that feels for you new guys. And it looks like we're going to start our first Grand Arena Championship, and it will be a week-long exhibition that is going to start next week. I like that exhibition thing. We did that with Grand Arena when that first hit. I think that makes sense. It's kind of an opportunity for stuff to go wrong, which it pretty much always does for this kind of stuff. Dark Side territory battles when that first hit. And they're just saying that they want to do that to make sure the player experience, technical smoothness, competitive integrity of the experience is as good as it can be before they ramp up those rewards, competition, etc., leaderboards, all of that stuff. So here's the schedule. And I like this schedule. They've got a big subject to change disclaimer. And so, I mean, if something changes, I think, you know, we'll deal with that if it comes. I really hope they stick to the schedule. But again, something I said in my last video, I would much rather something be ready than, you know, not ready. And I'd rather wait a few days so it can be ready. Number 1, June 17th. So June 17th, that's going to be on Monday. the client rollout begins. This initial development of the TU16 update, this begins the 24-hour rollout process. We are targeting Monday and Tuesday, and it may move, so again, subject to change. But while you are able to download it, you won't be able to play Grand Arena or Darkside Territory battles until the event date starts. Other items and patch notes may be event dependent. And so we'll see what the other patch notes are. I don't know exactly, what else may be exciting about that update. There might be a few other Easter eggs in there. I think there'll likely be some layout changes maybe. Who knows, what will change, but we'll be able to get that update Monday or Tuesday. But then, don't get too excited because we're not starting Grand Arena just yet. The 20th is when our first exhibition of Grand Arena Championship starts. So the 20th. That's Thursday. So a week from tomorrow, we're going to have our first Grand Arena Championship. Just one more week of our drought of Grand Arena, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's been a hard few weeks. So they're packaging this as a straightforward 1 week long Grand Arena embedded in a championship. You'll see basic league progression, which I'm really excited to see how that looks, and a few interesting feats. Players won't be able to reach the top league, which makes sense. It's a 1 week long deal. And then rewards and progression speed will not be final. And so we're gonna, and this is what they did with the first Grand Arena. If you guys remember, we had rewards and we're like, what what is this? But those weren't what the rewards ended up being. It was just, that was the, for the exhibition, those are what the rewards were. Number 3, we got 626. That is, let's see, 2 weeks from today. So cooldown and Geonosis Darkside Territory battle. A 1 week downtime where players can focus on the new Geonosis Territory battle while we collect and respond to feedback from the first exhibition championship. Okay, so we're going to get to take a look at Geonosis Territory battle, and we're going to also be able to kind of get ready for the next round of Grand Arena Championships while the devs kind of figure out what happened there and make some adjustments accordingly. And then 7/2, July 2nd, my birthday. My 30th birthday. My 30th birthday present, CG. CG, you are giving me Grand Arena Championships for my 30th birthday. Thank you so much. On 7/2, which is 3 weeks from yesterday, it looks like, we'll start our first 5-week full-blown Grand Arena Championship. They're still calling this an exhibition. Here's how they describe it as a dress rehearsal. So rewards and progression won't be final, but other than that, this championship is very much a dress rehearsal for the real thing. We'll mostly be focused on monitoring for cheating, thank you, and technical stability, and ensuring that even non-competitive players make solid progression across all GP divisions. Rewards and progression speed will not be final. And so I think I'm happy to see that because to me, progressing through the league sounds really exciting. That was something when I played, a game I played that had that recently was Command & Conquer Rivals. And progressing up through the leagues was super fun in that game. And so, and I wasn't that good at that game, but I still felt like I could reasonably progress through the leagues. And so I think it'll be good to balance that so that there's incentive to progress through the leagues and it doesn't just feel like, you've got no prayer at anything. From there, we'll take 1 to 2 weeks off Grand Arena Championship in August to process feedback and make more significant changes, including rewards for all divisions. Okay, and then we'll proceed to Championship 1, the first real event. And so that's going to be mid-August, it looks like. So we got a ways until the first real thing. Depending on overall results of the first championship, we may end up doing a stat wipe on championship score and other championship-specific profile stats as well. Okay, so it's like, we're going to do all this stuff in July. They might erase it from our profile is kind of how I'm reading that. I don't love that, but I don't think it's the end of the world either. All players who participate in the exhibition period will receive an exclusive title. You'll only be able to receive then. So if you're a title collector, make sure you participate. And then through the exhibition of Championship 1, Grand Arena Championships are going to run exclusively in the 5v5 format with characters only. Characters only, yes! Ships are the death of me in Grand Arena. We're considering mixing 3v3 and ships in soon after, but for now we're sticking with a purer format. This is the pure stuff, everyone. This is the Walter White pure blue. This is so pure. Thanks again for reading another Grand Arena Championships TED Talk. We're looking forward to putting this in your hands. All right, so a few thoughts on this. Number one, props on communication. I like how much communication they're doing this and how it feels like they're really making sure that this rolls out a way that works for us. And so based on how, all this communication is going, I'm kind of anticipating this to run smoothly. A concern I have now, I don't know how much CG is able to bite off, but this is a lot that they're going to have to balance and figure out in a short amount of time. It's not just Grand Arena Championships, it's also a new territory battle. And if you guys remember how the last territory battle we got, Dark Side territory battles, that rolled out during the holidays, and it was rough. It was a really rough rollout. There was a lot of stuff that happened around that time, and so having a brand new territory battle to roll out in the middle of this whole new championship format, I worry that it's gonna kind of clog things up and overwhelm them. But they're doing it this way, and so I'm sure they've kind of planned accordingly. So I hope you can handle it, CG, because this is going to be a lot coming your way. So what are some of your thoughts on this post? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm anxious to hear from you guys. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, my brothers, don't forget.
My dead body. Sorry about the mess.